Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1990 Toyota Celica GTS. Up front is a 2.2 liter inline 4 and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Celica GTS for two reasons. First of all, it has pop-up headlights. That's it, that's the reason. The second reason is because I recently reviewed a 6th generation Celica and you guys really loved it. So I'm here to show you guys the 5th generation of Celica and hopefully you guys like it just the same. Or maybe even a little bit better. Who knows? But before we get on with the rest of the video, if you are interested in helping out the channel, there are some links in the description below for some products that go towards helping the channel. There is a suction cup license plate from Con Plates. There is a fixed OBD2 Bluetooth sensor to help diagnose your car issues, and there is Cash for Cars that helps you sell your vehicle quickly. Again, if you'd like to help out the channel, please click the links in the description below. Let's get on with the video. So let's get back to that 2.2 liter inline 4 under the hood. Makes about 130 horsepower, but boy is it fun to rev out, especially on these South Carolina back roads. It is a blast to drive. 130 horsepower is plenty for this little car. Now this is the GTS model, meaning it got that larger 2.2 liter. So you do get a nice power bump moving up to the GTS. However, this is not the all-track, which was the all-wheel drive version, which everyone, including collectors, seems to gravitate towards because of the rarity, the uniqueness. A 4-wheel drive coupe from the late 80s. It's kind of neat. Oh man, is this fun? This is a fun car. Oh, it's a little chilly for the window down today, but oh man, I had to do it. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission, and I really love the feeling of it. It's very notchy, very clicky, and the clutch engagement is nice, easy, and light. It's very simple to get in and out of gear. Rev matching, hill starts, whatever it is, very, very easy and light, but it's still engaging and fun. The shifter really notches into place, and I really like that. Last but not least, this here Celica is front-wheel drive. However, as I mentioned earlier, you can find them in all-wheel drive. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. This particular Celica has been really well kept and actually really well restored. Well, in front of me, I have 3 main gauge pods. On the left is my battery voltage, coolant temperature, and fuel. In the center is my speedometer, and on the right is my tachometer. Now, you guys know me. I wish the tachometer was in the center because this is a more sporty car. However, not the end of the world, and the gauges are very simple and easy to read, and exactly what I expect from Toyota of this era. On the steering wheel, I have cruise control to the right behind the steering wheel, but that's it. The steering wheel does have an airbag, which is nice for 1990 because this was before airbags were legally required, but it is that sort of pillowy, prehistoric airbag that we've come to know and love from the 90s. To the left of me, I have my fog light switch, a vent, as well as my gauge dimmer switch. And then on the door, I have my window lock, power windows, and power locks, which are at a very curious angle. They're sort of angled towards the driver, but in order to hit them, you kind of have to angle your arm a really weird way, or just go from the underside, which is slightly unique and unlike most other cars. Moving into the center, we almost have a sort of 2-tier system. Attached to the gauges just for the driver is the climate controls. If you're the passenger and want to adjust those climate controls, get bent. I have plenty of different settings on where to send it, high, low, and some medium buttons, the temperature ranging from 65 to 85, froster, AC. I have a ton of 90s plastic buttons right here, which I think looks interesting, but I think they definitely could have simplified it. Now, to the center, what the passenger actually gets to look at is a digital clock, the hazard switch, and 2 climate control vents. Very, very basic. They don't get much. Moving down below that, I do have a aftermarket radio because most radios from the 90s are pretty garbage, and let's be honest, this being a 1990, it's really a late 80s car. Then I do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and I had no hope coming into it, and of course it fails the big friggin' bottle test because these are they're a joke. Then we come to the shifter itself. The shifter is very basic, very economy. I would not believe if Toyota told me that this costs more than 8 cents to make per unit. And even at 8 cents, I mean, it's obnoxious. It is a very cheap feeling shift knob, however, it is the original shift knob, and Toyota is a brand that does things in the most efficient way. And so it was most efficient to put this shift knob in here rather than designing a special one for the Celica. What is nice is I get a leather shift boot with red stitching. I do enjoy the look of that. I think it looks pretty good. And then we come down to the center console. We have the handbrake. I have my power lumbar, which is interesting. For the driver's seat is actually found in the center. Then I have my power mirrors behind that, and I get this nice little armrest. Now the seats, first of all, in my opinion, look fantastic. I really like the look of the seats, and the owner, Connor, has actually refurbished them. They used to be stained. This used to be a smoker's car, if you can believe that. So I think they actually look really good. And I fit in them, which being a larger guy is not an easy task. And they are slightly sporty. They have higher bolsters, which I'm really enjoying. But like I said, I actually fit in it. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. So we're in the back of the 1990 Toyota Celica GTS, and I get an ashtray back here, but I'm not gonna fit back here without this seat moved all the way up, which would mean my driver would have to be like 3'11". My head is for sure hitting the ceiling, not good. If you have kids, you could stick them back here, I guess. Don't plan on using these back seats. However, one advantage of the back seats we'll talk about when we talk about the trunk. So, here is the trunk of the Celica GTS. Really nice space. Absolutely love it back here. Tons and tons of room. And when I was talking about the back seats, what I meant was that if you pull up on this, you can actually push these forward and lay them down. If I own this car, that's exactly what I would do, just to give myself so much more space. Plus, I do get this privacy cover when the seats are up, so you can actually have stuff back here and not worry about people seeing in and trying to steal it, blah, blah, blah. So, absolutely love that. Now we gotta talk about the looks. First of all, how can you not comment on the pop-up headlights? It has pop-up headlights, which have been switched out for LEDs, but they look fantastic nevertheless. But the overall look of the car, I think it looks really sporty, and for something to come out of the late 80s, this is pretty new age. This looks fantastic. This is different, it's round, and I love the look of it. I think it looks really sporty, especially the all-track models. But now let's get to my final thoughts here on the Celica GTS from 1990. What do I think about this car? Well, let's get some of the downsides out of the way. This is not the all-track version. If you have an all-track version that you would let me review, please email me with the email up on the screen or found in the description below. I really want to drive one. I'm not a fan of the shift knob. The shift knob honestly feels very, very cheap to me. It looks like it's out of a Tacoma manual from 1982. But those are really the only two things that I have to say I'm not a fan of. I love driving this car. The engine, the 2.2 liter, is buzzy. It's fun to rev out. It's engaging. It's a very pleasurable drive. The interior in here is really well kept, and I think it's actually laid out pretty well for a 90s car. No, it doesn't have modern tech in it, but I think for a 90s vehicle, I think it's laid out really well. I think it looks great. I think it functions well, and it has pretty much everything I would really want in a sporty car like this. I love the rear space that you get with the trunk. I think that's fantastic, and I think that's missing in modern cars, which is a good segue to my final thought, and that is Toyota. Please bring back the Celica. I know you kind of messed up with the 7th generation. They looked weird and they weren't that cool. But if Toyota could somehow recapture this, well, not this, this. can recapture that, sign me up. I will, tell me where to sign me up. Just tell me where to put my name and it's gonna go down on that paper. I'm typically not a fan of front wheel drive cars. I prefer rear wheel drive. But on a back road like this, I'm not really thinking about which wheels are propelling me. I'm worried about the revs. And this thing loves to do it. And when things do break, things go bad, life happens. This car is over 30 years old. Buy some new ones. It's Toyota. It's not gonna be that expensive. This is a USDM car, so you're not gonna have issues finding parts here. And parts are shared with a couple other Toyota models, like the shift knob. So if I think in 2021, if there's any Toyota name that really deserves a comeback, it wasn't the Supra. I think it's the Celica. This is a blast to drive, man. They're so good. They're so good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Connor for letting me take out his 1990 Toyota Celica GTS. He's been absolutely awesome throughout this whole experience, and I'm glad I was finally able to make it down here to South Carolina. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.